Alright, so in this video we are going to factor a fourth degree polynomial. The first thing I want to do is my remainder theorem again. So I'm going to start with finding f of 1. So I'll sub in 1 into that equation, and again I'll do it in my calculator because it's a lot quicker. I get negative 27, so that's no good. Remember, you want to always get 0, so it's a perfect factor. So I'm going to change all my 1s to 2s. I'll try f of 2 next. F of 2 is negative 120, so again that's no good again. So I'll try f of 3 next, and let's see if that works. F of 3 is negative 175, so that one doesn't work either. I'll try 4 next. Okay, and I get 0, so I have my first factor over here. So I'm going to do synthetic division next. I put my factor over here, and then I'm going to put my coefficients over here. And let's do our synthetic division. So I'm going to bring this down and multiply those two, it's 16. I'm going to add these two, that's 8. And multiply these two, that's 32. Add these two, that's negative 1. Multiply those two, that's negative 4. Add these two, that's negative 2. Multiply those, negative 8. Add these two, and my remainder should be 0. So let's write this in factored form. I know that f of 4 was equal to 0. I divided by 4, so my bracket is going to be x minus 4. That's from the first one there, and then this was a fourth degree equation, so this is going to be a third degree equation. These are my coefficients right here. So 4x cubed plus 8x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, so I've factored one factor out of this. I still have a cubic equation here, so I need to factor this like any normal cubic equation, which is doing my remainder theorem again. Okay, so I'm only going to do my remainder theorem of this part. I'm going to call this equation g of x in here. So let's start with trying g of 4. Because I know 1, 2, and 3 are definitely not going to work. 4 worked one time. It might work a second time. I have to test it out to make sure that I don't have the same factor that happens twice. So let me put 4 in that equation now. Again, I'm going to do it in my calculator. You only need this equation here. You don't need that factor right there. And 4 does not work. So instead of going higher, I typically test 1, 2, 3, 4, and then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So I'm going to start going to my negative numbers now. I'll start with negative 1. See if that works. Negative 1 does not work, so I'll change it to negative 2. And f of negative 2 is 0, so I've found my second factor. It's negative 2. So I'll do it in my synthetic division again. Negative 2 over here, and then my coefficients are 4, 8, -1, -2. Bring the 4 down. Multiply those, so that's -8. Add those, it's 0. -2 times 0 is 0. Add these, it's -1. That's +2, and again I should get a remainder of 0 at the end. So this was a cubic equation. Now this down here is going to be a quadratic equation. So f of x equals x minus 4. That was my first factor there. The next one from this -2 is going to be x plus 2. And then I'm left with whatever's down here. So this is a quadratic equation, so 4x squared minus 1. Now the last thing I need to do is factor this bracket if possible, and I can factor this with difference of squares. X minus 4, x plus 2, and then using difference of squares, this is 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1, and that's my final fully factored solution.